Dalton.
Alex.
I think someone kidnapped Josh, man. I think they're trying to mess with his brain and turn him into a sex slave.
Oh, man, I guess he just won't be able to do this episode then, huh?
This episode of Yet Another Geek Show.
Where we are spotlighting the movie Get Out in anticipation to Jordan Peele's next movie, Us, coming out this week. This week as of our recording, not this week as of you hearing it.
Right. Oh, man.
So, Alex, so this was your first time seeing this.
Yes.
Talk about how weird it is that Jordan Peele did this and he's now a horror master.
Listen, if his dookie can make it out of the hood, he can make a fantastic movie.
Man, it's nuts, dude. It's this movie and Us, and he's in charge of this Twilight Zone reboot coming out.
Right.
And
I forgot about that.
Signed on for several other horror and sci-fi projects that aren't coming to me right now, but this is what he's doing now, man.
I know. And man, is he doing it really well?
I don't know if he's worked on any comedy since he did this.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Keanu, but wasn't that before Get Out?
Well, Keanu's before this, but also he, if I recall correctly, wrote that but did not direct it. So this was his directorial debut.
Oh, okay.
Well, I assume he's a director on Key and Peele. So I guess we'll say film directorial debut.
Yeah, I guess we can say it that way.
Yeah, I guess we'll call it that.
Man, I'm so used to just nothing but comedy. You know, like Key and Peele was one of my favorite shows, and I'm sad that it's done. But if this is what comes out of it, then shit. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's really really good.
Yeah. So I saw this movie when it came out, and all I knew. I started making the habit at the time of just going on Rotten Tomatoes, and if something I hadn't heard of was over a 90, I would just go see it without looking into it at all. Like, I wouldn't watch a trailer or look at a poster or look at a cast list. Just, that has over a 90%. That means 90% chance I'll enjoy it. So let's go for it. Mm-hmm. And but what I did happen to learn before going to see it was just that it was a Jordan Peele movie and that people were calling it a comedy horror or a black comedy or something along those lines. Right. And I disagree with putting the word comedy anywhere near this.
Yeah, it has comic relief.
It has a comic character.
Yeah,
which does not at all make this a comedy movie. So,
no.
So I feel like people just forced that in there because it was Jordan Peele and they didn't really think about if that made any sense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, it has a comic character and there are maybe 2 or 3 scenes of comic relief throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, and I mean, every movie has jokes in it. So
right.
Does that mean anything? Like every movie's it's not a romance just because there's a boyfriend and girlfriend in it.
Right.
It's not a comedy just because there's a few jokes. In any case, that was what caught my attention to go see it. And I saw it and I'm like, man, that was not a comedy movie, but it was great.
Yeah. Oh, man, where to start?
Wow. All right. Let's talk some cast.
Okay.
So this, let's see. Do I got a reference open here?
I hope you do, because I don't.
This main star, Daniel Kaluuya. Mm-hmm. Before this, I had seen him in an episode of Black Mirror. I think you've watched Black Mirror, right?
I have not.
Oh shit.
What was it? Bandersnatch?
Yeah.
I played that.
Which played is an interesting word for it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I experienced that.
Anyway, the whole thing's an anthology, so you could just go look for his episode if you want. But he has an episode in there that's utterly killer, and that's what people knew him from before this. And
he's a phenomenal actor.
And that's what got him hired on this. And yeah, he's incredible. And after this, I believe the only thing I saw him in since was he's a very minor character in Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
Is almost kind of a shame, because now I'm like, oh, no, he's incredible. Give him a real role.
Yeah.
Give him something significant. there's no Marvel character that comes to mind who he would fit best for. Nope. Yeah, there is Blade.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. That would have worked. It's too late now.
Oh, yeah.
In any case, utterly blown away by that. And, getting good performances out of people, like, that speaks to the director, too.
Right.
The director has to know what they're doing. And Jordan Peele's, before this, he's only familiar with, directing people how to get comedy out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a lot of symbolism throughout the whole entire movie. I mean, aside from, the certain, like,
you're changing topics here. You want to do that yet?
Well, I mean, I don't really have much to say about any of the other cast. I mean, I know I've seen them in other things, but
okay. Well, I have more to say there because I want to speak about the performances.
Okay, go ahead.
Cast. And so the thing that Daniel Kaluuya had to do consistently that was really impressive to me was the way that throughout the movie he had to react to, if this word makes me sound like an SJW and pisses you off, then whatever, don't listen to my show, but the microaggressions.
Oh,
The way that you can just, the things people do, like talking about how much they love Obama, or they can't talk about golf without mentioning Tiger, that kind of thing, where he sees the microaggression every time, and this is surely something he's experiencing frequently, and he's just trying his best to, like, only express enough discomfort with it for the audience to see it.
Right.
But not enough to create an awkward situation, a more awkward situation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really compelling stuff. And then, what's her name? Allison Williams, the girlfriend character.
Rose.
I knew her from Girls Before This. Yes. You didn't manage to watch this twice, did you?
No. But I did keep mental notes of a lot of the things that I seen.
Mm-hmm. It's fascinating to watch her again, knowing the real character motivations afterwards.
Oh, yeah, I could see how that would be.
She's doing a thing where she has to play. She's kind of playing two characters at once, and you kind of have to not notice one of them for most of the movie.
Right.
Things that feel really honest and sincere and relatable for most of the movie suddenly
go right out the fucking window.
Motivations are revealed. Once you know who she really is, you watch it again and you're like, man, that didn't feel like a genuine interaction, did it?
Right.
Something was really weird there. Man. That said, though, that might just be, you know who she is, so now you're projecting your own thing on her. I don't know if that really influenced how she acted for that segment of the movie. For all I know, she didn't know that the character was like that for most of the filming. That's how I would have approached directing that. I wouldn't have revealed that until we got to that scene.
Right.
Just to add more to how genuine and real that relationship felt.
Yeah.
I don't want to, let's see, do I even know all these actors' names? I haven't seen most of these actors anywhere else.
Yeah.
Everyone was really good, but I guess I just want to give a shout out to any of the actors that played a brainwashed isn't the right word.
Mind controlled?
Any of the victims here. And I am going to specifically call out Lakeith Stanfield, too. I hope I just said that name right. I'm going to find it in front of me while I keep talking. Stanfield, can't find it. Remember to cut this. Stanfield. I said Feld. Okay, I'm going to specifically call out Lakeith Stanfield too, but all of these victim characters, they are very literally playing two characters at the same time.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Down to the point of their eyes saying one thing and their mouth saying another.
Right.
And it is so horrifying every time. Yeah.
The actor that you just pointed out, who did they play?
Lakeith Stanfield, he's the jazz musician.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm calling him out specifically because he's the only one I have seen in a significant amount of other projects. If you saw Netflix's Death Note. He was L. He was the only good thing about that movie. Oh, him and why is that actor's name slipping my mind? Green Goblin, Ryuk. Why am I losing that guy's name?
Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, Willem Dafoe. Those two being the only good parts of Death Note. He's a recurring character on Donald Glover's Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Which is a highly recommend. He is very much not this character. He is very versatile. And he did a movie last year called Sorry to Bother You. I can't begin to explain that without spoilers. You go into that blind, but he's incredible there. And again, a very different character. So shout out to him. He's becoming a favorite of mine. But yeah, all of these actors that played victims here did something really phenomenal with the multitasking in a single shot. And it's not even what James McAvoy has to do in Split, where he's jumping between personalities. You need to see both of them at the same time.
Right. The one scene where the housekeeper, what is her, the actress that played her?
I don't know.
But when she's explaining that unplugging his phone was a mistake and he's talking and
here I have it. That's Betty Gabriel.
Okay, she did that scene was phenomenal, where she was in tears and still maintaining to keep the smile, and oh man. That whole scene spoke volumes, because even saying mind control isn't necessarily the correct thing.
Yeah, it's not the right word. I don't know how to.
They're there, but they have no control over their words or actions.
Yeah.
But man, holy shit. So Dalton, I remember you telling me to remember the significance of the deer.
Oh man, was that a long time ago? I don't remember saying that recently.
Yeah, you told me that when you seen the movie. Something about symbolism.
So you just remember me telling you that 2 years ago, and and you remembered that all the way up until finally watching it now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's one of those things you pick up through it's one of those things you pick up when you watch it through it a second time, or just remember it pretty well the first time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know certain symbolism throughout the whole movie towards the end, where a lot of it made a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. So you're supposed to catch on that the way his mother died affected the way he reacted to that deer.
Oh.
He feels a lot of guilt for totally blocking out the situation and not reacting to it.
Yeah.
When this happens to his mom. So when it happens to the deer, he's compelled to get out of the car and walk down the road and look.
Okay, now that part makes sense. I thought you were talking about something towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't know that about his mother until later in the movie.
Well, yeah, of course.
So, there's lots of little things like that kind of get recontextualized. Rose's interaction with the police officer.
Yeah.
The first time watching it, it's about sticking up for her black boyfriend.
Yes.
The second time watching it, it's about keeping them off her tail.
Yeah.
Those are the examples coming to mind, but that stuff is all over this movie. It is so well thought out.
Yeah. Man, I want to talk about some of the stuff at the end, but I kind of want to save it for a little bit. I do have something that really kind of cracked me up, though, when after they talk about how smoking is such a nasty habit, and he goes outside to have a smoke, and all you see is the gardener like full force running at him.
Like he's going to tackle the cigarette away from him?
Yeah. I couldn't help but laugh my ass off right up until when he like ducked left and left him alone.
I think I recall the discomfort making people giggle in the theater.
Yeah.
Because the charging happens long enough for you to stop and think about it and dwell on it. Like, what is this dude doing?
Yeah, like what is he a ghost? Like what?
It happens long enough for you to get uncomfortable, and then people start chuckling like a what the hell chuckle.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, there's
and then he acknowledges it. And then he acknowledges it the next day, but like it does not at all, like he minimizes how weird it was.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm sorry, but he's not like, oh yeah, I'm a weirdo. I'm
Right.
sorry, that was super weird and horrifying.
He's just, I'm sorry.
I don't know why
you.
I'm like this.
Yeah. Something that I wanted to point out to you during the dinner scene when the brother's there and everything, and they're all talking about like UFC and judo and stuff.
We've all met this dude, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, let's be fair. On one occasion, I have been that dude.
Oh, shout out to him, Banshee from X-Men First Class, for being a really successful weirdo in this movie.
I didn't realize that was him. Shit.
Yeah.
But when he goes in to do the headlock, I kind of think that he wasn't in on the whole thing just yet. Like, he got there late, or he got there unexpectedly. And then when they told him to stop, and he's like, what? I wasn't going to hurt him.
No, he's just being difficult for the family to control. He's definitely aware of it because he's the one that kidnaps the jazz musician in the opening scene.
Well, yeah, but what I'm getting at,
like he knows what's going on.
Oh no, I know he knows what's going on, but like I don't think like maybe he thought it was a little farther along than it was, because like you see where I'm getting at, because he's the muscle that clearly does the knocking of outs and
like you feel like he might have really wanted to go for it right then.
Yeah,
and the
but
family's like, wait, come on.
Yeah, come on, wait, we haven't told him to stop smoking yet.
Yeah, I get that vibe. Like he's overly excited and he wanted to go for it then. Yeah, right. I can see that.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. Man, the whole scene after that exercise though, kudos to the audio guys.
Oh, even the audio's killer.
Oh, I know. Like the spoon rubbing against the teacup the entire scene. Like, it was sincerely convincing, and just it was super impactful. Like, you knew what was going on the second it was going on, and you're like, don't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, in that first scene where he gets hypnotized, you understand that it's that teacup. I mean, maybe they weren't that subtle on it. They zoomed in on it and made it super loud, but they still did it without words.
Yes.
Just here's a real quick communication to you of exactly what's happening.
That whole scene spoke, you know what I mean? It was super strong. Even the sugar that was like left on the spoon that you could see, like when it would pop up, like you could just feel that like this isn't clearly important to her. She's not trying to dissolve the sugar in her tea or coffee. She's doing this on purpose. Like, even like, it's just that little detail to me was like, man, they're really driving this home, you know, even though it should have been completely obvious what they're doing. Like, they're making it as obvious as it possibly can be. The whole thing with the sunken place, I loved the way that they envisioned it.
Yeah, the way they visualized it, the way they put that feeling to film.
Yes.
This is supposed to be a metaphor for the Black experience of man, I don't want to explain this as a white guy, but the idea of, you know, you can yell all you want, but you'll never be heard.
Yeah.
And I mean, hopefully our society's improving about that
right,
slowly and eventually, but that's certainly what the metaphor is supposed to be there. But in a more literal sense, it's also one of the more horrifying things I've ever seen. And if you enjoy seeing this, you'll enjoy the hell out of Black Mirror, dude. This is basically a really long Black Mirror episode.
Okay.
Not that they've done an episode like this, but like this would fit in.
I see what you're saying. You know, even referring to some of the symbolism there, when he is kidnapped, all he can do is sit there and watch TV, you know, for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It just goes on and on.
That could very well be an element of it.
It's just there's so many different layers. It's hard to really capture them all. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to go back and watch this a second time and then a third time with some sort of like director's commentary on it. There's just so much going on that you won't catch your first time.
Gotta have one, but I haven't bought this disc. I wonder.
Now, oh man,
Well, speaking of director commentary, I want to mention there were several like YouTube videos of Jordan Peele, like, talking about it and at some point acknowledging fan theories and whatnot. And someone was talking about Rose separating her colored cereal from her white milk. And Jordan Peele's like, no, that wasn't supposed to be a metaphor. It was just supposed to be fucking weird.
Yeah.
That's just scary. That wasn't a metaphor.
Right. They're trying to make her out to be even more of a monster. Another point that I wanted to mention was like you get the knowledge that the main character, he does judo, or he had judo experience, which is really cool because like even in the headlock scene, I know I'm kind of backpacing a little bit, like when he grabbed his arm to stop him, he was getting ready to defend at the same time. And like you can clearly tell that this guy is super capable physically, but mentally he's broken. And they really captured that with me, at least. I mean, I was a fighter, not anymore. I'm too lazy. I don't want to keep in that shape. But man,
too lazy and too dumb.
Yeah.
I've got neither of the things you need.
Yeah, I could be hypnotized and not be able to throw a dude. But I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here.
Well, while they're fighting, I enjoyed, like, speaking of like this movie doing a good job with show don't tell, you through that whole fight sequence, you can tell what Chris is thinking before he does it every time, just because of what the camera does.
Yeah. Are you talking about the dinner scene?
No, I'm talking about the actual fight at the end.
Oh, yeah. I will get into that here. I had some really, really interesting things I would love to talk about. Another thing that here's where my thought process went while I was watching this movie. I thought that like before they really reveal like what's going on, where they're, swapping bits of brain. I thought that they were having her go out and bring people and hypnotizing her every time she brought them to go back out and just restart the cycle like she was completely innocent until the scene with the keys. Because like you clearly hear them jingling.
And they do tell it in such a way that, like, no, I had that too the first time watching it in the theater, where I genuinely still believed she didn't know what was going on until she did grab the keys. Yeah. That she was being brainwashed in some way.
Right. And the big thing is like you could hear the keys jingling. And when I started hearing them jingling, I'm like, OK, she's definitely brainwashed and just can't see them. And then when she pulled the keys out, I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. Like I was so mad. I wanted to be right. But man, this movie, it's so good.
I think my brain just like tried to justify the possibility of her not knowing she was doing this because, like, as he finds out, like as he finds the box of pictures,
the photos,
like she definitely like saw that. She definitely knew immediately, oh shit, he just found that. And then still played along. And I'm like, does she not know that's there?
Right. And why was that door open several times? You know what I mean? Was there something I missed where the door was open and he's seen into it but didn't see what was going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I mean, everything was perfectly timed, like their walk, so that way he could be auctioned, essentially. I didn't catch on that the person who bought him, you know what I mean, until that scene, because like I knew exactly what he wanted. And at first there was a couple of different things that I thought they were like organ harvesting or you know what I mean? Because that dude was blind and he wanted his eyes, I thought.
So you were like interpreting that literally.
Right. I wasn't sure if they meant literally or if there was some brainwashing shit going on. And I mean, clearly it was for sake of a better word, the latter.
There's definitely a big chunk of movie where like you can tell something happened to all these black servants, but it takes you a while to be certain what it was. For a while, you just assume brainwashing. And then I'm sure everyone realizes what's really happening at a different point in the movie. But there's a progression of you start out assuming brainwashing and then you slowly realize what's really happening.
Right. When he takes the photo of the dude on his phone, Andre, And just that whole scene where his whole face just comes to reality and he comes back clear and he just looks at him with his nose bleeding and just says, "Get out." You know, man,
It's horrifying.
absolutely. And the other thing too with that, with Andre's character in particular was, when he first seen him, you know, and he took some comfort that, you know, he wasn't the only black dude there. As soon as they walk away from that conversation, I don't know if you caught this, but when he goes to the other group of older people and he does the spin, that was basically the dude that's taking control of his body saying, "Hey, look at me now."
Yeah.
I thought that, like, I didn't catch on to that until my wife pointed it out to me, and I'm like, oh shit, that makes sense, you know? Now the scene, like the whole fight at the end, there were a couple of things I wanted to point out to you if we're good to go that far.
Yeah, let's say, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to have to do a slight bit of play-by-play here. In the scene with the keys, the brother attacks him with a lacrosse bat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that he beat him in the head with a lacrosse ball?
I don't think.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I noticed that.
Yeah, he hits him with a lacrosse ball.
Uh-huh.
At least I think that's what it was.
I don't know if I know what a lacrosse ball looks like.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what he beat him with.
Okay.
Then, when he goes after the dad,
Mm-hmm.
you remember the whole nihilist deer comment that he made?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kills him with a deer head.
Oh.
You didn't catch that?
Okay. No, I didn't. And see, that's another little thought out little
Yeah.
detail like that. No, I didn't put that together.
Yeah, man. I don't know exactly what was symbolic about the what is she? The hypnotist?
Mm-hmm.
I forget her name, but I don't know what he killed her with. It looked like she stabbed him through the hand with a letter opener. And dude, that whole scene, like his face when it goes through his hand, he's so calm. And then you see the pain in his face when he moves. Like, you can clearly tell he's not afraid anymore. Like, he does not give a single fuck, because it's either he makes it out of here or he doesn't.
Yeah, he's in control of the situation.
And I loved that. That's exactly what that face was. And oh man, I loved that.
Yeah, I'm gonna slightly sidestep here, but speaking of that dad character, and these lines happen from other guest characters too, but I enjoyed the way that he was a satire, not of really like blatant racists, but a satire of liberals that are trying so hard to be inclusive that they don't realize they're saying racist things.
Yes.
Like
the Obama third term thing.
I guess those are the microaggressions I'm talking about earlier. But yeah, if you can't start a conversation with a black dude without bringing up Obama, like,
yeah, absolutely.
As a bleeding heart progressive liberal, I enjoyed that little bit of poking fun at the people on my end that aren't quite getting it right.
Right. It cracks me up because, like, no matter what, like, you're always going to have those awkward things.
Although he did say his line of dialogue about the deer, it's a start, which is a thing that blatant racists have said about black people.
It's typically the punchline of any racist joke. Which
I call that a good start.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I do have to say that when I'm not gonna. How do I want to put this? It's the people that are trying to be inclusive. They're not necessarily they're not intending to be racist, but they're just not getting it. But in this particular circumstance, like they're throwing the highlights of what those people are trying to do, and it doesn't help. But it's tricky because, like, there's that one scene too where he's talking to the guy who's about to take him, and he says, "Why black people?" And he says, "I don't really know why, and I don't care." Like, he's not being that inclusive style.
Yeah, there's different flavors.
Yeah,
of racism going on here.
There's so many things going on in this movie, and man, I was really I don't know, maybe this line of dialogue was lost on me, but before that fight scene, when the dad is staring into the fire and asks him what his purpose is, was he being blatantly racist there, or was he, you know what I mean? Was he like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That bit of scene isn't coming back into my head off the top.
Where he says, what's your purpose? Something about being inferior, not necessarily him being inferior or his race, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe that one's not popping back into my memory right now to comment. Yeah. But
it was the dad. He was either very straightforward or very elusive in some of the shit he says in that entire movie. That was one of the lines of dialogue that was kind of lost on me, and I might have to go and rewatch it again to try and understand it again. But man, every death being symbolic was really, really good. Except the one thing that kind of frustrated me was that they ruined the death with the brother and the crossball. Oh, they brought him back and he's like, you ain't going nowhere. You know?
Did you catch on to what Chris was doing with the cotton before they revealed it?
Yeah, no, I caught on to that immediately.
Well, I saw, watching it for the first time, I caught on that he was getting it out of the chair, but I didn't catch on to what he was trying to do with it until we saw him pull it out of his ears. Did you comprehend why he was clawing at the chair? I just thought, what is he going to do with this cotton?
No. If you noticed, like before he got hypnotized, when he was stressing out, he was fidgeting because he was kind of jonesing for nicotine. And he was really uncomfortable, and it's kind of like a neurotic thing where you'll like grab at a chair or like knock on a table, or he was just there for so long. He started to eat the binding of the leather away, and the stuffing started to pop out, and that gave him the idea. So in the times that he was unconscious, like even if you look at the scene in the beginning, he's sitting there scraping at it when he's unconscious or in the sunken place.
Yeah. Now, I'm just saying that once we saw the cotton come out, I realized he had a plan. I'm just saying I didn't piece together what that plan was until it was successful.
Yeah, no, I caught on to that as soon as I seen him like look at the cotton.
I couldn't guess what he was trying to do with it until we saw. Anyway, I was just curious if you were smarter during that scene than I was, because I was like, what's he going to do with that?
Dude, I was on top of this whole movie. I'm just like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, I know there's some stuff in here that's going to be really good, and I don't want to be like spooked and not pay attention. You know what I mean?
You mentioned audio and we forgot to talk music.
Man, the music in this movie was good.
Okay. And that's simultaneously out of the composed original music and the licensed music.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I wasn't even just going to mention the soundtrack here, but I mean like the general audio, the sound effects that you hear the sound guys put in post.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what we talked about earlier, but we didn't jump over to the music in the process.
Yeah.
So the licensed songs, the first thing you hear is Childish Gambino. The name of that song is slipping my mind.
Oh, goodness.
In any case, it's a killer song, but the lyrics to it that I'm not going to bother reciting, but the lyrics to it relate to the plot of the movie, like a little too closely, to the point where you can just imagine, like, you can imagine Jordan Peele having heard the song on the radio in his car and being like, oh, that's going to work too good. Let's open with that.
Are you thinking Redbone?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's interesting because, like, in terms of audio, it's not a scary song, but if you're listening to the lyrics, you kind of get the vibe, like, if you know you're going into a horror movie, you realize that like you realize the words are going to relate to the fact that you're going into a horror movie, even though musically it's just catchy and fun.
Right.
But then the other like pre-existing songs, that like Run Rabbit Run song, like things like that, horrifying. I don't know, just really good choices of songs there. The original music is what to say about the original music? It's really traditional for a horror movie, so modern, if that makes sense. Like, this is like a sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
And yet the original music is like, you kind of expect electronic elements in there, maybe some weird like Hans Zimmer-esque sound effects and noises.
Yeah.
And it's really just traditional like creepy string sections.
Yes. Yeah.
Just here's a handful of, violins in a room doing something dissonant. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I think it was in the beginning when Andre gets grabbed and they play that loud, sharp, that noise. I think that was in the beginning there, and that actually made me jump because I wasn't expecting it. Which also, speaking of, I know we're talking about the music here, but was the brother always wearing that fucking medieval helmet? Like in the beginning of the movie, was he wearing it?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't catch that, and I was wondering like why there was a medieval helmet in his car later. And
yeah, that's one of those little things you notice is that later on it's in his car, right? And then in the beginning, he's wearing it when he kidnaps.
It's even on like the cover of the movie, like he's wearing the helmet. And I'm like, where's the significance of this? I think he was wearing it on the cover. Yeah, he is wearing it on like the poster of it.
Yeah. So, let's see. Did we get everything else? Oh, okay. So Rod, played by Lil Rel Howery. I've never seen someone who's not a rapper. Well, to my knowledge, he's not a rapper. Maybe he is. I've never seen someone who's not a rapper go by a Lil, but okay. Only other thing I've seen him in is Bird Box. That movie's garbage. Don't watch it, but he's still cool.
Yeah, he was a good character.
Okay, so you don't think his comedy went overboard?
No.
Okay, I don't either, but I could see why someone would say that, because he's the comedy character. But it makes sense though, because like you want Chris to have someone on the outside he's talking to, because this is 2019 and we're not going to buy it if someone has no access to a phone to talk to other people.
Right.
And there's no reason for his friend on the outside to, be behaving like he's in a horror movie. He's not there. He doesn't know what's going on. So I was okay with it. I don't think it interfered with the tone or anything.
No, not at all. In fact, the only thing that I'm kind of bummed out that they didn't do at the end, like after he said that he was motherfucking TSA and that's what they do.
TS motherfucking A.
Yeah. I'm kind of bummed out at the end that Chris is the main character's name.
Yes.
I'm terrible with names. I don't know why.
Because like IMDb open, and that's the only reason I know that.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of upset that they didn't because Rod clearly smoked. Like he was on smoke breaks talking to him for like the TSA, like at the airport and stuff. It kind of bummed me out that they didn't have Chris reach over in like a console where Rob would have had his shit, grab a pack of cigarettes, and then light a cigarette at the end. And the only reason I say that is because that's where it started. That's when he lost control.
Okay.
So like to have that, like have him light a cigarette up at the end would have meant this has no hold over him anymore. I wonder if they made an alternate ending with him doing that.
That would have been a good call. No, there is an alternate ending and it's not that.
Oh, damn. I haven't seen that yet.
Okay. So when Rod or at the ending where Rod arrives and you see the police lights. Were you really concerned that Chris was about to be arrested?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, and so was the movie theater that I was in. Man, it was unreal experiencing that moment in the theater when, like, obviously it goes without saying that this movie got a large black audience, and obviously, black people more so than a white person like myself deal with this fear of the police and not being treated fairly. And now he's in a situation where, man, he's black and it looks like he killed a bunch of white people. Like, you can understand that fear and feel it in the audience. You could feel everyone go quiet and hear like a few oh shits.
Right. Yeah.
And then Rod steps out and the whole fucking audience cheered. Everyone was so goddamn happy. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I was a little worried that it was the officer from before.
But so there is an alternate ending.
Oh no.
Where Chris is arrested and does go to prison over this. So that was the original idea. And Jordan Peele changed his mind.
I'm kind of glad he did.
And decided to have that more happy ending. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because like it's unfortunate if he did pick that other ending, because it would have been frustrating to see him regain the control of himself again just to lose it, you know?
It would have added to the social commentary.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it is also supposed to be an entertaining story, and I wanted that relief at the end more than I wanted one more little bit of what would have been a pretty obvious commentary.
Yeah. It makes the movie feel a little more timeless. Just because like I know you and we fight for equality, you know? I mean, not to say that we shouldn't learn from, you know, what's going on in society now, but I think that it makes this movie feel more timeless.
I don't want to use the word fight, because that implies I've been going out on the streets and marching and been a much more useful ally than I've been. I think maybe endorse is the more
endorse is a better word, because I mean we still call people out on their bullshit, no matter if they're I don't
want this podcast to take off and in 10 years have someone be like, Dalton said he fought for equality, but I don't see him at any of these parades.
Fair enough. But I mean, like, we're against stupidity. You know,
that's a way to put it.
Yeah. You know, maybe not anyway, the best way to put it, but
yeah. So yeah. I'm glad he went with that, and he did.
Yeah.
This movie's something else. I haven't seen anything else like it in terms of the simultaneous, like mild satire, the racial commentary, and horror all in one. I have seen things like it in the sense that I think Black Mirror could have told the story, and you should watch that. But I'm really caught off guard that this is a Jordan Peele thing, and I'm so looking forward to seeing Us this week.
Yeah.
By the time the audience is hearing this, that movie's already out.
Yeah, it's, you know, somebody that I know from comedy going to something like this and having their own unique view on it is refreshing, you know. I thoroughly enjoyed that this movie could have gone, you know, to, like you said, the social commentary of it all, and it's not, you know. I think what I'm trying to say is this could have, I don't know, maybe edit that. It's instead of breeding more potential propaganda, you know, it's a fresh take on something that is still current but can still be timeless and very interesting.
I mean, the things it's calling out, we've been, you know, calling out for centuries, and unfortunately still might be for centuries. So it's timeless in that sense.
Yeah. And we endorse against it.
Geez. All right. Well, I think we're good here. I guess if you're watching the Spotlight, you've already seen the movie, so you don't need to know if we recommend something or not.
Yeah.
But
if you are watching this and haven't seen the movie, what the fuck are you doing? Go watch this movie. It's really good, and we spoiled everything for you already.
If we spotlight a really bad movie, we could open with like, hey, this is full of spoilers, but it doesn't matter because I don't think you should watch it anyway.
But we're doing that to a good movie. Alrighty, guys. I think we're going to take off, and hopefully Josh will break out of the sex trade.
Oh, that's right. We have to go deal with that.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Thanks.
Where's TSA?
Have a good one.